Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor is officially a commoner after being formally stripped of his last remaining honours by the King. Nine's Europe correspondent Hannah Sinclair has more.
Well, the disgraced royal has now lost all of his royal titles, but he is still clinging on to one more.
Now, they have told us overnight that Andrew, it's interesting not to say Prince Andrew, because of course that has been tripping off our tongues for decades, but now no longer. Simply Andrew should now give evidence in court.
But this is the full Monty. They have gone for it. They would have had all kinds of other options, less dramatic options, perhaps kinder options to Andrew, but they have chosen not to pursue those. And we're entering slightly unknown territory.
Andrew's announced that he's going to stop using his titles, but is that enough? I mean, some politicians out there want him to formally be stripped of the...
Even though official decisions years ago publicly removed Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor's Royal Highness title, a new report has raised serious concern. While his belongings were being moved to Marsh Farm, several boxes were seen with labels like HRH Office, HR Sitting Room, and even HR Meeting Room. This surprising detail points to a clear contradiction. And here on FameX, we break down this royal situation step by step. You definitely won't want to miss what's being revealed, as this story goes far beyond just moving houses.
6 months after Virginia Giuffre died, her story is being told in her own words, painting a picture of abuse and torment at the hands of the rich and powerful. To discuss...
Looking closely at this situation strongly points to a continuing pattern. It seems Andrew has not fully accepted his greatly changed royal position. Let's go over the confirmed details. Hundreds of boxes were transported to Marsh Farm, a 5-bedroom house on the Sandringham estate, meant to be his long-term residence after leaving Royal Lodge. This move carries strong meaning, especially since Royal Lodge was a massive 30-room property linked with senior royal status.
I guess you don't pay $12 million out if you're a clean skin, right? How does she describe Prince Andrew?
I think, as we've just heard from Andrew, the bigger issue here is what happens with future allegations, what actually happens with the allegations if they're not going to be aired, and we still have this idea.
Leaving such a well-known estate is not a small matter. It clearly shows a visible step down in status for everyone to see, and the move itself was reportedly difficult. Reports suggest the relocation was delayed because of issues with reducing belongings, and Andrew is said to have requested access to several properties during the process. Although the move was finally completed, it did not stay private. Attention has now shifted from the move itself to the clear details coming out of it, especially the HR labels on boxes for different rooms. In royal households, such titles are never used casually. Staff carefully follow strict rules, so these labels were not random. They show how his household functions internally, and more importantly, how Andrew is still addressed in private, raising serious concerns since he is officially banned from using the Royal Highness title in any public or work setting.
He's going to be funded, some sort of income is going to come to him from the King. The King's pretty clear that's not going to be Crown Estate money. In no way could people say it was the state supporting him. But this is the most extraordinary set of arrangements that have been announced. It gives you a sense of the scale of the damage that the royal families think that, it's hard to stop calling him Prince Andrew, that Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor had been inflicting on.
This public restriction came after his links to Jeffrey Epstein, which led to his removal from royal duties and a major reduction in his responsibilities, as part of an effort to protect the monarchy's image. The appearance of HR labels now creates a clear contradiction. The title has been removed publicly, but seems to continue privately. This is not the first time such behavior has been noted. For years, reports have described Andrew as very demanding, highly focused on royal rules, and expecting the same level of respect as before, even said to refer to himself as Prince Andrew in private. When this is combined with entire rooms marked HR, the meaning becomes very significant.
Prince Andrew has in turn been linked to that. That then could embarrass Keir Starmer if questions are asked in the House of Commons about the Prince's allegiance to some of these people that are under suspicion with regard to that scandal.
These labels suggest not just an old habit, but a continuing expectation. The contrast becomes even clearer when looking at his new living situation. Marsh Farm, a newly updated 5-bedroom farmhouse, while comfortable, is a clear step down from his luxurious 30-room residence. Even security has changed, with reports of an electric fence creating a more restricted setting. Adding to this, King Charles recently stayed just 2 miles away at Sandringham, but noticeably did not visit Andrew, sending a quiet yet strong message of distance. Last month, the situation reportedly became more serious when Andrew was said to have been detained and questioned by police for over 10 hours, during which he was referred to only as a detainee, with no royal titles used at all.
The initiative and the control of the communications to Andrew, and that was a severe error. That was a very big public relations mistake by the palace. But what they've done today, this evening, puts that right with knobs on.
Being called a detainee, a neutral term for someone in custody, shows a major shift. Reports claim he was treated like any ordinary person under investigation, without any special treatment, which reportedly caused frustration. This creates a clash between two different realities, an official system removing all signs of rank and privilege, and a private household acting as if those titles still exist. This clear contradiction is hard to ignore. The actual items in the boxes, such as clothes, antiques, books, and personal belongings, including a copy of My Life on Mars, may seem ordinary, but when carefully packed and moved into a much smaller home, they suggest someone trying to bring parts of a past life into a very different present. At the same time, his former wife Sarah Ferguson is also facing renewed attention, with discussions about removing her 1987 freedom of the City of York honor.
There'll be a lot of nerves, I think, in the palace and in Downing Street as well, because you've got to remember, it's less than, 10 days since we had that statement which basically allowed Andrew to pretend he was not you.
As Andrew settles into Marsh Farm, the situation around him continues to change, bringing focus back to those important labels. They are not just simple words on boxes, but a reflection of how his household operates, how staff are instructed, and how Andrew expects to be treated privately. These details suggest that even after losing titles, roles, and public image, very little may have changed behind closed doors. This is why the issue cannot be ignored. It's not really about the move itself, but what the move reveals. Andrew appears to still hold on to a status that officially no longer exists. This is where the real tension lies. Privately, he seems to live in the same way as before, just without the public recognition, raising important questions. Reports also suggest that the move to Marsh Farm was not quiet, with claims of strong demands during the process, where staff were expected to follow very detailed instructions for room setups and daily routines. Everything reportedly had to remain highly organized, keeping the same formal style linked to his time at Royal Lodge.
We were told Prince Andrew couldn't stop being a prince because he was a son of the late Queen, but they found a way to do it, and they found a way to do a lot else besides. And he's going to, as you said, no longer live in Windsor, but in a sort of internal exile, in some sort of property on the Sandringham estate.
Instead, the move seems like an effort to recreate his previous lifestyle in a smaller space. Staff are still expected to maintain strict standards, use formal language, and most importantly, those labels suggest his old title may still be used. This consistency speaks loudly, though it does not surprise those who have followed this story closely. The situation becomes even clearer when seen not just as Andrew's personal choices, but as part of the larger system managing him. While there is a public effort to show distance and consequences, the private reality appears less clear. Even with his reduced role, smaller home, and changed public image, the structure around him still seems to follow the same formal patterns. This difference between public and private reality is gaining attention, raising a key question. How long can this situation continue? Showing one image publicly while maintaining another privately will always lead to scrutiny, as it clearly has now. The monarchy, which has worked for years to protect its image, must carefully balance every decision.
where did the money come from? Anyone that's read Andrew Leonie's superb book will have a pretty good idea, but there are allegations in that book I wouldn't repeat here because I'd suggest to your viewers they go and read the book, but that stuff's going to come out under parliamentary privilege. So we are going to see into the finances of Andrew, and that is going to happen quite quickly.
So when details like these labels, staff expectations, and internal systems come out, they directly challenge the monarchy's carefully built public image. This also raises practical questions about responsibility. If the goal was truly to change behavior, why does so much of the old system still appear to exist? This is the central issue, not just what has changed, but what clearly has not. When Andrew's move, the HR labels, continued reports about staff expectations, and the difference between public and private treatment are combined, they create a strong picture. Officially, Andrew has lost his titles, roles, and public status. But in private, the system around him still seems to reflect the same structure and sense of rank. This growing gap between public view and private reality is attracting major attention, as people now realize that even something as simple as a label on a box can carry deep meaning. This situation also puts pressure on the institution itself, leading to an important question. If this continues behind closed doors, how much has truly changed? And who is responsible for making sure those changes happen? These questions are difficult to ignore, especially as the monarchy tries to maintain public trust, leaving the situation feeling unresolved and open to further examination.